Good morning, everyone. I'd like to start by thanking the scientific committee for allowing me to present my work on some problem breeder cows from the UK. To give you some background information, the study was undertaken in the north of England and southwest Scotland on 7 intensively managed dairy farms. All the cows contributing to the study were Holstein Friesians. Herd size averaged 550 cows per herd, with a range of 150 to 3,000 cows. They were all intensively housed, with both conventional and automatic milking systems utilised on these farms. Using farm records, 190 cows were allocated to this study. And whilst different authors have used different definition in terms of what a problem breeder animal is, for this study, I allocate a problem breeder cow as one that had received 4 or more services without conceiving. The methodology was very similar and using the normal technique for undertaking bovine embryo transfer. So under caudal epidural anaesthesia, the appropriate catheter was passed up each uterine horn and aliquots of lactated Ringer's solution gathered from each horn, as opposed to doing a uterine body horn flush. Okay, some descriptive statistics of the intervention cows. These animals range from 1 to 8 lactations, with an average parity of 3 across the group. The average number of services prior to intervention for flush washout ranged from 4 to 11, with an average of 7, which meant in reality these animals at the time of intervention were somewhere in the region of 200, 210 days in milk when the voluntary waiting period was taken into account for each of those herds. The standard voluntary waiting period before insemination in these herds was 45 to 50 days across all herds. The control animals range from 1 to 11 lactations, with again an average of 3. And the number of services was quite extensive, ranged from 4 to 26 for one deemed high genetic merit heifer, who interestingly did fall pregnant after flush wash intervention. So again, looking at the statistics on these control animals, again, whilst taking voluntary waiting period into account and taking the mean number of services at the time of enrolment, these animals were going to be in the region of 230 to 240 days in milk at the time of study intervention or study enrolment. Results seem promising to start with. Anecdotal evidence from the clients was the technique was something that they liked and they readily sought for over a number of years, that they on the ground clinically felt there was benefit of undertaking the flush washouts. In the intervention cows, 51 out of 80 animals conceived on average 31 days after flush wash intervention. At the time of flush wash, no other treatment was instigated, whether or not purulent material was detected in the flush media or not. But all animals were enrolled into a synchronization program in the absence of a corpus luteum at the time of intervention. These animals were enrolled in an OBSYNC protocol. And those animals with a corpus luteum present were treated with prostaglandin at the time of intervention and were heat detected over the next 5 days and served on those natural heats. However, when I looked at the statistics across these groups, despite the anecdotal evidence or the client perception that the technique was significant, there was no statistical difference between the animals that were flush washed or the control animals which were followed through. All animals, both the control and flush wash, were followed for 2 subsequent services after enrolment. So, going on from previous talks this morning, which were excellent and very informative, we all know a hostile uterine environment will be detrimental to embryo viability, either in terms of implantation or in terms of early embryonic or even late embryonic death. Chronic endometritis can go undiagnosed as no overt clinical signs are present, yet either through the action directly of bacteria present or through secondary uterine inflammation, these animals may either be subfertile or prove to be problem breeder individuals. This study did not show any statistical difference between either the interventions or the control group. But perhaps it should be taken more on an individual animal basis, particularly those animals deemed of higher genetic merit or in circumstances where regular routine bovine embryo transfer collection or ovum pickup are not available or not financially viable. The clients themselves were very positive about the technique, and it was something that was still sought after by them as a cohort, that they did see results on the ground. Thank you for your attention.